Well, hey there, guys. How you doing? I thought I would do a video Ask Joe this week, just for the heck of it. I've done a few different videos before demonstrating ISDN sessions and things like that, and I always get great emails off of those, so I thought maybe I would do a video Ask Joe segment this week. We were talking about microphones. This is my 416. It's a Sennheiser 416. I had mentioned last week that I'm using it kind of temporarily. I do use this microphone when I'm in kind of noisy situations, if I'm doing a Source Connect session from a hotel or if I'm out of town. And I'm not in my normal studio. We're in a rental house while we're remodeling a house that we purchased at the beginning of the year. So I'm building a brand new studio. And once that's finished, I'll bring back my U87, which is what I have here. This, for me, I think this is the best microphone for me. I just love the way I sound on it. It picks up just the right timbre, and it's a great mix of, a nice solid bottom with mid-range, and I just think it sounds really, really great on my voice. So that's the microphone that I prefer. And so this is the one I use for situations when the studio's not quite right. I'm going to go to a few of the emails here. This one is from Mark Atherley. He says, thanks for setting the bar that I try to attain on a daily basis. You've been a VO mentor of mine. I'm starting to blush now. He says he's trying to climb into animation and learn some further technique for promo and narration. And do you have any suggestions? Well, anytime that you're trying another field, number one, the first thing you have to do is take workshops. And the more workshops that you do, the better your chance is of succeeding. So, Mark, that's the first thing that I would say is to, if you're moving into animation, you get into some really good animation workshops. And you're also talking about promo and narration. Each one is a different genre, and you have to attack each one as almost as a separate career. So if you're going after animation, you're working with animation workshops and developing that technique of developing voices and a number of different voices that you could use. Start watching a lot of animated films and get into that. Promo and narration, two very different genres of voiceover. And again, pull them apart, and if you decide you're going after promo, get into some great promo workshops, and the same with narration. And of course, as we've said before, when it comes time to put your demo together, these all have to be separate. You have to have your animation demo, and say it's 2 minutes. That should be strictly animation. There shouldn't be a promo on it. There shouldn't be any narrative on it or anything like that. Same goes for any genre that you're going after. Make sure that your demos are completely separate. Somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago, does that mean I can't put it on the CD? Yes, you can put it on the CD, but make sure each track is labeled animation, narration, promo, commercial, and make sure that each of those tracks is dedicated to those different genre of voiceover. Kirk Greenhill says, just stopped by to say hi. Looking forward to hearing your secrets to success in this wild business. And I'm asking Joe, how did you do it? What advice and direction can you give to a budding new talent? Much the same as we mentioned to Mark, there's a great book. James Alberger has a great book, The Art of Voice Acting. And another book that I was involved with, all of the proceeds go to Alzheimer's research. Joan Baker put together a book called Secrets of Voiceover Success, and she had about 13, 14 voiceover artists who contributed to the book, and I was one of them, and so was Don LaFontaine and Bill Ratner and several others, many others, George DeLoyo. I think it's a great book. It's for a good cause, and it speaks exactly to what your question is. How did these individual artists do it? And everybody kind of takes you through the beginnings, the stumbles along the way, the successes, and then the inevitable failures along the way, even after some successes. It's a very good book, Secrets of Voiceover Success. You can get it at Amazon. Liz Nazera says, I'm still smiling from ear to ear having met you and Don at Joan Baker's Voices Remember event. It was great talking to you about non-competition in VO. And what I was saying to Liz at that event, which was in New York at Central Park South apartment on, I think we were on the 26th floor or something like that. It was an amazing event where we took some voices of Broadway shows, and we had voiceover artists from the book. The voiceover artists introduced the singing artists, and all of the money that was raised from that event went to Alzheimer's research. And when I was talking about non-competitive VO, really, all of us together we have similar goals. And especially when you're starting out and you're in workshops, people are concerned that there's a competitive nature about that. And to a certain extent, there is. But really, these are your peers. You share similar goals. And you really reach these goals by standing on each other's shoulders. What's happening is that you're all working towards a common goal. And there's something to be said, a lot to be said, for having a good relationship with your peers and supporting each other along the way. And that's why I think there is certainly some sort of competition going on, you really are there for each other. And I think you have a better chance of succeeding if you befriend these people who are seeking these very similar goals as yours. And you do it together, and you celebrate your successes together and also your failures. They're there to help you out and give you a shoulder to cry on, so to speak. So there you go. That's Ask Joe for this week. Thanks very much for signing up for the group. And I think in the future we'll take more questions. And certainly I'd love to show you around the studio, maybe do an ISDN session or two. And I've had people ask me what kind of recording software I use. I do use Pro Tools. I know there's a wide range of thought on Pro Tools versus other recording software. I use it just because I see it a lot in the studios that I go to, but we can talk about that further. So listen, have a good week. We'll see you next week. Thanks.